Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about system of equations. So what is a system of equations? Whenever we are dealing with more than one equation, whether it's 2, 3 or more, it's called system of equations. Now there are many different ways of solving a system of equations. One of the ways is from the tables, the other one is from the graphs, and then the third one is using the algebraic methods. So here I want to show you how to use an algebraic method to solve a system of equations. So essentially there are two ways of solving a system of equation using the algebraic methods. One of the ways is using the method of substitution and the other one is by using the method of elimination. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use substitution as a method to solve system of equations. Guys, I have divided the substitution method into three types based on three different types of examples, because my goal with this YouTube channel is for you to be able to see a lot of different types of solved examples, so that gives you confidence when you are working on your homework problems, classwork problems, and eventually that helps you to be successful in the math class. Okay, so let us start with an example. I would like to call it as type 1, and we are going to talk about the method of substitution. Okay, so we are going to use substitution. And the method is kind of motivated by the name of the method, which is to substitute, okay, and which you will see in all these three examples. So in this one, I'm going to do one example, and then the second one in the next video, and the third one in the third one. Okay, so I call it type 1. And I like to start with the simplest, easiest one, and once we understand a simpler one, then we can build up and we can actually try to do something more challenging or something that requires more work, extra steps. Okay, so let us start by writing this example. I have 5x minus 4y equals to 6. And now I'm not only dealing with one equation, we have two equations because it's a system. And I have y equals to 2x plus 3. So let us call this equation 1 and we call this equation 2. I like to start by labeling these as 1 and 2. Now, how are we going to solve this system? Guys, the key thing is to focus on the substitution. We want to substitute. So if you look here carefully, in equation 2, we already have y, which is solved in terms of x, right? So since y is already solved in terms of x, and then in this first equation, we have a y term and an x. So what we can do simply here is we can substitute this y in the first equation by the second one. So we are using the second equation and we're substituting that into the first equation, and then we'll see if we can actually solve for one of the variables. Once we solve for one of the variables, we should be able to solve for the other one as well. Okay, so that is the whole idea of solving a system of equations. You cannot solve this system individually by itself. If you just look at the first one, we cannot just solve it by itself because we have two variables. Same thing for the second one. We still have two variables, so we cannot solve them by itself. So we have to basically use the help of one equation and bring it into the other one, and then we have to see if we can actually solve that one. Okay, so the idea is to use one equation and substitute that into the other one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this first equation back, so 5x minus 4, and then for y I'm going to replace that y by 2x plus 3. The other key thing here is to keep the 2x plus 3 in parentheses, because here it is a binomial, we have two terms. So we want to keep those two terms in parentheses, okay? And then that equals to 6, right? So equation 1, still equation 1, but it is slightly transformed because now we have replaced the y term by 2x plus 3. Now the next step after this is to simplify this, and simplifying here obviously means to distribute this negative 4. So it's just going to look like this: 5x minus 4 times 2 is 8x, right? And minus 12 equal to 6. As soon as we see this equation, we can see that it is a linear equation with only one variable, and we can easily solve this linear equation, right? So let's go ahead and simplify and try to solve this. 5x minus 8x, basically combining like terms. So it is my negative 3x minus 12 equal to 6, and then to get x by itself, first I'm going to add 12 to both sides. So it is negative 3x, 12's cross out here, equals to 18, and then I divide both sides by negative 3 to get x by itself. This crosses out, so what do I have? 18 over this is negative 6. So I have my x value, which is negative 6. Good. So I already have my x values, but we are not done, right? Because we also have to find the other value, which is the y, right? Because it's a system, so we have x as well as y. So once we have the x, guys, then you can go back and substitute that x. Again, it is still about substitution. You can use that x and substitute back in equation 1 and then try to solve for y. That is one of your options. The other option is, since the second equation is already solved for y, if we just simply substitute x equal to negative 6, we should be able to get the y quickly, right? So I'm going to use this information, substitute back in equation 2. Guys, you can also substitute in equation 1. It does not matter, but it seems, looking at both the equations, that it would be easier to get y using equation number 2, okay? So we have y equals to 2 times x, and x is negative 6. So I'm going to put that in parentheses, and then plus a 3. Now you got to simplify this, so it is negative 12 plus 3, which is negative 9. So I have my y equals to negative 9. I have the value for x and I have the value for y, and the final answer, we like to write the final answer as a coordinate pair, so the final answer should look like this. Or I can say the solution for this system is written as an ordered pair is negative 6 for x and negative 9 for y. This is my solution. Guys, there's one extra step that I would like you guys to do when you're doing a system of equations or solving a system of equations. That is to verify your answers. And we all know that it is very important for us to verify our answers, to know that whether the solution that we obtained actually is correct or not. So I'm going to show you how to quickly verify your solution. And then for probably next examples, we can, I'm going to skip it, but you would know how to actually verify your solutions, and you can try it on your own, okay? So here, let us do that step, verify, or you can also say check. So I want to check or verify our solutions. So verifying here means that this x and y value should satisfy not only one single equation, it will satisfy both the equations, okay? So let us start with equation 1. With equation 1, we have 5x minus 4y is 6. So we are going to replace x with negative 6. So I'm going to try using different colors so that you can see it clearly. And then plus, and then we have, oh sorry, it's not a plus, there's a minus here. So there's minus 4 times, there's 4 times, what do I have, y, which is negative 9. And then I'm going to put a question mark because we are checking, and is it equal to 6? So we are basically verifying whether the left hand side equals to the right hand side. Let's go ahead and simplify this. 5 times negative 6 is negative 30, and negative 4 times negative 9 is 36, and still verifying whether that's equals to 6. Let us go ahead and simplify this. Well, negative 30 plus 36 is 6, and 6 equals to 6. Here I can put a check mark because we know that 6 equals to 6, so that satisfies, so this x and y value satisfies the first equation, but we are still not done because we have to make sure that it also satisfies the second equation as well. So let us also verify that piece as well. So equation 2, I have y equal to 2x plus 3. What is my y value? Negative 9. And I'm going to put a question mark here. Then I have 2 times x, which is negative 6, plus this 3, negative 9. And then if I simplify this, 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. Negative 12 plus 3 is negative 9. Good. So both of the values are verified for equation 1 as well as equation 2. So that guarantees us that our solution is correct. Okay. And the other thing that you should keep in mind that there is a unique solution. We only have one particular solution that satisfies both these equations. Okay. Guys, you should still try to do these using graphs, using tables, and there's also ways you can use like TI-84 or TI-89, whatever calculator graphing calculator you are using, you can use those calculators as well to actually find these solutions. But it is very important for all the students across the different courses to know how to use the algebraic method, whether it's substitution. Later we are going to talk about the elimination as a method to solve the system of equations. Okay, so in the next video I will show you type 2, and then we'll talk about type 3 as well. Okay, till then.